What's up, everybody? Happy President's Day. It feels like a Sunday. If you're watching live on YouTube, Twitter, or X, formerly known as Twitter, Instagram, MySpace. You know, I could stream this on LinkedIn, which I'm not going to. But what is up? This is John Marks, Delco Steve. He's in the house. He'll be around in a second. It is, like I said, it feels like a Sunday today, but that kind of every day feels like a Sunday. Not having a job, except the kids didn't go to school today. I guess that's why it felt like a Sunday. But it really hit me today. I was at a birthday party. And, you know, like there was a bunch of kids that typically we see the parents when we go to the birthday parties, where we go to, like, you know, there's like birthday parties almost every weekend. Having two kids that are in first and second grade. So you see the parents and you see everybody else. And I didn't see a lot of parents today. And it's like, oh, it's because they have jobs. And they don't have the job where they get off for President's Day. Like if I was still working at WIP, I would have been on the air today. I would not have had off. But it's getting the time to where I need to start thinking about a job. Because even though I am trying to monetize this right now, or at least I'm going to, as technically, as you can see, I'm in my beautiful living room, and I need to be able to pay my mortgage to be in this beautiful living room. But so I have to starting to think about, all right, what am I gonna do? Right, like I can officially, if I could get a job on the radio, or for a digital property that would be considered a competitor to WIP, I can do it in April. So we're not even at the end of February yet. So I'll have a full month even when we hit March. But I still not really sure. I don't know if there's going to be interest in radio, or I'm going to have interest in what they're going to have in radio. I don't know if I'm going to go to a digital property. Still a lot going on. But I know this, that I need to start making money, man. I'm going broke. As Delco Steve. By the way, Steve, your name is officially Delco Steve, because that's what everybody wants to call you.
All right, give me a second.
Well, you can leave it up as Steve Gallo, but you're going to be referred to as Delco Steve.
That's fine.
As you're wearing a Florida State Seminole hat?
Yes, sir.
What is that?
Go Noles. Go Noles, baby.
Are you a bandwagon FSU fan?
Nah, I've been Noles since I was a kid. First team I liked in college basketball. I got references. Man.
See, there you go. I didn't even ask for this. Delco Steve. Yep, just took his last drag in Newport. There you go. So as I was saying, Steve, I was at a birthday party today, and there was a lot of like one of our friends. It was like, oh well, where's she came with such and such, and I'm like, oh, that's right. People are working today. People have actual jobs today. You work today, correct? You didn't get the day off.
I did.
Yeah,
I worked today. Yep. Third floor bathroom, baby.
So wait, just for the people out there, what do you do when you're not producing for free? John Marks on YouTube, X, and Instagram.
I'm a general contractor. My dad and I do it together. We have one other guy that works for us. Currently working on a bathroom. It's good times.
I need 3 bathrooms redone in my house, by the way.
You need 3 bathrooms done, or
1, 2, 3? Yeah. Well, no. So I need a roof first, and then after that, if I not having a job and no money, these things aren't exactly. I'm not planning to get them done in the next few months. But if I ever do get money again, the next thing after the roof are the 3 bathrooms. My home was built in 1999, so we have the original bathrooms from the house, and they're still like in decent shape, but. You know, it's like you get to a point, we've redone the kitchen, we've redone the floors, we've redone the carpeting, painting, blah, 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 blah. So it's like, all right, now we get the bathrooms. So it looks like I'm going to hire you.
Exactly. I know a guy. I can help you out.
All right. Well, very good. So I'm at this birthday party today. All right. And here's where I am. Everybody want to see where I was? Roller skating rink. Pitbull in the background.
That's the first thing I think of as kid party Pitbull music.
So it's called, I think, Ringing Rocks was the name of the place. It's in Pottstown, and it's very nice. Like you would have to imagine in 2024, it's difficult to operate a roller skating rink and make a profit. So this place it's been around forever, I guess. And then someone bought it and then is trying to bring it back. And like it's clean, it's in good shape, but think everything wood and painted. So everything in the bathrooms, the wall, everything's just painted. You know what I mean? And then
like old school painted. And
old
then
school painted. Yes. The bathrooms, you feel like you're in the 70s or the 80s, but it's not dirty or anything like that. You just have a lot of original things. But this has been a part of my daughter's in second grade and first grade. It was actually our neighbor down the street, but she's in second grade. So we've been here before. We're kind of on the bank. It's like a circuit, right? So depending on the age, people like to do the same birthday party. So you go to Urban Air if you're like last year, we did a lot of Urban Air birthdays, or Bounce U before that. I went to McDonald's for my birthday with like 4 people, and we went to the
I was gonna say, so none of your parent friends are creative then. It's like, oh, that was a good idea. Let's just keep doing that.
No, I mean honestly, this was the biggest. My takeaway from the birthday was, wow, like they had pretty much had to do nothing. They brought some snacks and some drinks and some whatever else, and there was like a little bit of there was like an area where you could do that and cake, and then you leave. That's the problem. My daughter, her birthday party, we had to cancel it because she got sick. She literally the morning of her birthday, and she's Christmas Eve, her birthday. But we do it a couple weeks before that. Yeah, she's throwing up that morning. She's like, I'm okay. And I'm like, honey, you're not okay. You're throwing up. So we had to cancel it. So we lost our venue. My buddy has a bar, and we were going to go get them wasted. The 7-year-olds wasted at the bar. No, but they have like a banquet room. And we hired this lady that does Legos. She brings like all this Lego stuff, and each kid gets like a kit, and then you make Legos. And she wasn't expensive. It's a couple $100 for her to do it. But so like, around Christmas, he had no other time that we could go do it. So we actually had to have it at our house. So I had 23 8-year-olds or 7-year-olds running around my house between my basement and upstairs doing Legos, which sucked. But yeah, so anyway, but the roller skating, and I don't know how to roller skate. I didn't put roller skates on. I'm more or less just going around with them on my in my sneakers. But last time there was a birthday party there, our friend trying to come down the steps, she was with her daughters trying to come down the steps, slipped, boom, right on her wrist. When I say broke her wrist, I'm not talking like just not breaking her wrist. So I wasn't even there.
Like Theismann, like it?
Yes, like Theismann. So I wasn't even there. It was a Sunday. The Eagles were playing. I forget what game it was, but it was a late game because it was a late afternoon party. And I get a call from Liz, and she's like, "Gotta come up here. She's fell." She went to some hospital in Reading in an ambulance with her. My wife did, because like the wrist was like facing the other way. So pins,
yep, I'm out.
Break, surgery, all that stuff, all from a roller skating rink party. So no one broke anything today, luckily.
Well, that's good.
Yes,
it's always positive.
It was good. Yes, Mike D. The wife did let me out of my basement. I'm gonna go play the piano in a couple of minutes. Steve actually saw me before the show. I was. He said, "Wow, you're the Liberace, Ray Charles."
He had the white coat. He had the white coat on and everything. It was great.
Right. Yeah. So, yeah, maybe I'll go back there and I'll play it a little bit.
Take
so yes, it was not. So it was. It was not fun, and I mean the kids had fun. It wasn't fun for me, because you don't get to just sit there and do it. My kids aren't at the age where they don't know how to roller skate, so they're like, "Daddy!"
Right? You have to help. You have to participate
the whole time. They had a really good time, and by the end, they were kind of skating on their own. But the DJ.
They had like the little tripod thing.
No. What
did like tripod thing?
Like when you learn how to ice skate?
Yeah.
No, they did not have
wheels on it or something.
That's what I was expecting. No, this place is retro. They don't have this. And again, like I said, it must be difficult to run it because there's no like when I was growing up, there was a roller skating rink not far from where I was, and I even remember during camp that like twice during the summer we would go to a roller skating rink, and they had arcade games and shit, and hot dogs and pretzels and stuff. This place didn't have any of that. They had a room, but they weren't making a whole lot of food. But anyway, yeah. So they had the chicken dance. The DJ was also the guy that was renting you the skates, and he would go up and do the DJ. And
He's doing 6 jobs at once.
He's doing everything, yes. But it was it was interesting. I'll say that. It wasn't terrible, but the kids had a lot of fun. All right, who's jacked up about the Phillies? Are you excited about the Phillies? All right, first of all, Delco Steve, rank your teams 1 to 4 in order of your love for them. Your Philadelphia
order of
teams.
love: Flyers, Eagles, hands down, like 1-2. It's close, but they're above and beyond the other two. Then Phillies, then Sixers. But I know more about the Sixers than I do about the Phillies.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, that's why you're Delco Steve. If you go Flyers number 1 and then Eagles number 2, that's a sign of Delco.
And it's like 1A, 1B. It's not
really.
Flyers number 1 and then Eagles like right behind them.
My 1A, 1B is Eagles and Phillies. And honestly, I feel more connected to the Phillies, if that makes any sense.
I feel more connected to the Phillies too because they've won like in my lifetime. Obviously.
Well, no, the Phillies mean more to me than say the 76ers. The Flyers, I don't watch a lot of hockey anymore, but like the Phillies to me, when I think of the Phillies, when the Phillies won the World Series, I thought about my grandfather who had passed away, both my grandfathers who passed away, because I remember being down the shore when I was a kid and sitting out on the porch and listening to the Phillies games with them. You know what I mean?
Right.
I remember as a young kid going to Phillies games with them. So it was something that the Phillies were my first love. The Eagles in the early 80s were in the Super Bowl in 1981, but like the Phillies were the better team. And then the Eagles were good. The NFL didn't become huge until the mid 90s, late 90s, early 2000s. That's when it became huge. Baseball was huge. But I still feel a big, like more of a personal connection with the Phillies. So I also tend to be less critical of the Phillies and more positive than with the other teams as well, which I believe a lot of Flyers fans also would be the same. They still think, even though it's been 50 years since the last Stanley Cup, that it's coming one of these years.
Flyers fans are brutal. And I can't say I haven't fallen into this as well. It's like we talk ourselves into certain things and then talk ourselves out of other things. It's just Flyers Twitter can be a scary place for sure.
It can. Now, who are your go-to Flyers personalities that you follow? Charlie O'Connor of PHLY.
Yep. I've been following Bill
Meltzer
forever. Like I was following him from a hockey trade rumors blog that I've was reading in like high school. Those two are my main go-to, and then you got like the Sam Carchidis and the Tim Panaccios that still put stuff.
Jason
out there.
Murtitas, are you a Jason Murtitas fan who does
I follow Jason. Yep.
Does the pre and the post and the
he
intermission
doesn't have as
report?
much of the breaking news stuff though. Like he reacts to the news. So
yeah, he's not a reporter.
Right. Exactly.
Oh, so you want insiders. You want info.
Yeah, I can make my own assumption on the stuff after the fact. I need to know what it is happening as it's happening though.
So you're an expert. You don't need to hear from other people. These so-called experts.
It's not that I have. Not that I'm an expert, but like I have my opinion that I'm going to stick to on.
Do you know more than Jason Murtitas when it comes to the Flyers?
No, he's way inside the organization. I'm just talking my hockey opinion compared to anything else. So
that's what I'm saying.
But he obviously knows a lot more. He knows a lot more, and he thinks about the game. I play goalie as well, so we kind of both think about the game like in a similar way. But when we talked about it when I was an intern at the Fanatic, but it's like I don't know. It's like I don't really go to like for other sports. I'll be like, what does this person think of the trade, and then I dictate. Or like a trade or a signing or a move, whatever, and be like, and then I'll dictate my judgment of it on that. Hockey, it's like I know the guys, so if we acquire someone I like, then I can make my own assumption whether it's people think it's good or bad.
All right. Yeah, the good thing about me, and at least when I was on radio, that when the team got good, I didn't pretend that I knew what I was talking about, and I would obviously. I like when the Flyers are good, and I like to have fun with them and everything else, but I don't turn the radio show into like, oh, the Flyers in the playoffs. I got to talk about them for 4 hours. Oh, yeah, if you want nobody to listen to your show, you can do that. But you gotta have fun with it. I mean, the Flyers, when the Flyers are good, they're fun. Hockey's fun. Legion of Doom. Yeah. Dude, in the 90s, I was a big Flyers fan. I love the Legion of Doom. I love the Crazy Eights before they even got the Legion of Doom. Mark Recchi. Ron Hextall. And then I don't know what happened, man. They just haven't been good. They haven't been interesting enough. So I've been out. I'm a bandwagon. I'm a Zamboner, as Jamie Lynch and I once came up with.
The good old days.
Good old days.
No, I mean, like my high school and college, they were awesome. So it was a great run. Like we were like the Stanley Cup run. It was my senior year of high school. So that was so cool. Like we were going out every night for every game. And it was like, and then college they had the Penguin series where Giroux knocked down Crosby in the first 30 seconds and scored. So like you had all those series like right when I was being able to have like
they were good
party moments. So that was always a good time.
I remember staying up for that. How many overtime game was that against?
5.
I remember staying up for that.
In the 5th. I was a kid, dude. I was like 8 or 9 and watching, and my dad let me stay up late watching that game.
That was awesome. Yeah, it's because it's one of these things where it's like, well, you get committed to where you're like, well, I can't go to sleep now. If this goes 11 overtimes, I got to stay up and do it. See, that's the good thing that they've done with baseball is you don't have to worry about. Because I have no interest in staying up to the 16th inning. Right? When I was a kid, I would be like, I wouldn't go to sleep because I wanted to watch it. I have no interest in staying up to the 12th inning or the 13th inning to watch a Phillies game. But when you're talking about playoff hockey, you can't turn that off. That was awesome.
If that was just for playoff baseball, if you got to 16th, 17th, 18th inning of playoff baseball, think about that 0-0.
Right,
what was it,
right.
Mariners? Like that game was awesome.
That was awesome.
Because
it's
someone
tense.
can hit and win this game.
It's tense because you know one swing at the back of the end of the game.
Yep. Yeah, whenever you get into those golden goal situations in any sport, it's fun.
Well, it was fun. All right, so let's hear from. So, and just for the record, I and this isn't because he would come on my show whenever we wanted him to, and he was always very very gracious to us, and he listened to our show. But Bryce Harper might be my favorite Philadelphia athlete ever. He just might be. And it's not just because he's a great player. There's just a connection with Bryce Harper and the connection that he also cares about having a connection with the fans. And I know a lot of fans will say, oh, well, he's faking it or it's disingenuous or whatever. I really don't think it is. And I mean, is he being smart about how he's acted since he got here? Of course he is. I've never seen anybody come into this city and ace a test like he has from the start with everything. But like you're here this is his 6th year, I guess, Bryce Harper. Wow, man, it's his 6th season.
It goes by fast.
It really does, man. I remember we lucked out. Ike and I lucked out. They signed him late. They signed him in spring training, and we just happened to be going down when he had his first press conference, and then we were there like that Monday. So he came on with us. And he came on the show and he said, if you don't think that I won't. If you don't think I won't try to recruit, he said, something to the effect of, "You bet your ass I'll try to get Mike Trout here," and it made headlines, made national headlines, and like he got in trouble for it and all this other shit. It was like, wow, this is awesome. Bryce Harper's giving us headlines, but I just love the dude, and he's come up huge in so many big spots. That didn't happen in the World Series last year, or not last year. That didn't happen in the NLCS last year. And that burns. That series when now you think about it. Now, I don't think they were beating the Rangers anyway. But like that series, I still don't know what the hell happened. It's like the Eagles season this year.
Especially with how Castellanos had that monster game in game 2 and then proceeded to do absolutely nothing for the rest of the series.
Well, if you remember, they were they were putting up historical numbers in the NLCS. Yep. And what game was it? We were out there in Arizona, and the game that they lost, and my brain's fucking applesauce these days.
They blew game 3 with a good pitching performance. I remember that.
And once the Diamondbacks made an adjustment, the Phillies had no answers, right? Like they said, hey, we're gonna pitch these guys differently, and there was no adjustment that was made. But anyway. So they didn't make the second straight World Series, but they're still right in the mix this year. And so let me give you my outlook on the Phillies, and then we'll play a little Bryce Harper stuff. The Phillies did sign somebody, but I look at this team. I don't think they're a 95-win team. They're not going to win the division. They're a playoff team, and at some point, the playoff magic has to wear off, right? Like at some point, the Braves have to figure this out, you would think, against the Phillies. And I know a lot of times it's matchup based to where, Dodgers, they have the most wins in baseball almost every year, but depending on who their matchup is in the playoffs, they're not winning or they're losing. So like at some point, this is a good team. To me, they're not a World Series team. And they get in the playoffs and they get hot again. I was really hoping they were going to sign a starting pitcher this offseason.
I've been saying that that's like the only thing I know about baseball with regards to who the Phillies need, who they don't need. They need a pitcher. You could see how that went in the playoffs, and they didn't add anybody. So,
yep. Yeah, they need to upgrade their rotation. They re-signed Aaron Nola. I'm trying not to.
You had to do.
I'm trying not to say I hate it, but see, the reason I hate it is they didn't sign anybody else. You know what I mean? Like if Aaron Nola is what they were signing and that's their starting pitching, their starting pitching's not as good as it was last year. And Corey says to get Mike, they need to get Trout. No, they don't. They don't need Mike Trout. They don't need the amount of money Mike Trout's making. They don't need the amount of games that Mike Trout will miss. Now, I'm not going to tell you that if Mike Trout wants to come here, and that, by the way, that's the other thing. Mike Trout gives you no reason to believe he actually wants to come here. Right? Like, when is he actually talked about it, I guess, today, where he says that, like, at some point he may think about wanting to be traded, but he's not there yet. He's loyal to the team.
I was going to say, if he wanted to be here, he wouldn't have signed that contract in L.A.
But here's the other thing with the Angels. Like, the Angels don't want to trade him because he's a Hall of Famer, right? He's one of the best players to play in this generation. But if Mike Trout went to him and said,
going for them.
But if Mike Trout went to him and said, listen, I love you guys, but I'm 32 years old. We got to do something here, right? Like, I wouldn't blame Mike Trout if I was an Angel fan if he said, listen, it's time for me to move on. Maybe they're not there yet. But anyway, I don't need a 32-year-old Mike Trout. That's not the problem with this team right now. Isn't they need another Mike Trout? Man, they need better. They need a better front end pitcher. Zach Wheeler needs to get extended, and he's probably going to. But outside of that, like, Aaron Nola is more of a 3 than a 2 to me. And unless they can get somebody internally that's going to step up, and I know there's still some guys that are out there, like Blake Snell's still available out there. But I just, like, to me, this team hasn't improved enough. So, like, you're hoping you get hot. You're hoping you get hot in the playoffs. But they're a playoff team, but they 90 wins. I think they're right around 88, 90 wins this year.
And why would they think to do anything different? It's worked the last 2 years, and they choked.
Yes, you're right.
So if they think they can pull that off again, why not?
All right, so let's hear Bryce Harper. Steve, let's go to the one. So even though he's in year number 6 of a 13-year contract, you notice this offseason he was talking about getting extending his contract. He wants to play well into his 40s. So here's Bryce Harper talking about wanting to stay in Philly with a new contract. Add some years on it. Here it is.
Thought about it too much about that. Just trying to, understand I want to be here for a long time and understand, playing into my 40s. I mean, that's the biggest thing for me. So wanting to get that done. I understand there's other guys to take care of, right? Understanding that Wheels is a big one for us right now.
Look at that grin.
But, contract negotiations can happen, throughout contract negotiation can happen, throughout the season and things like that. So, we'll see what Scott and Dave can come up with. Yeah, I think there's been communication there, between myself and Dave, and also Scott and Dave as well. Obviously, I want to be here for a long time, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, did you see the shit-eating grin on his face when he was talking? He's like, yeah, contract negotiations can happen whenever during the season, and I think Scott and Dave have had a conversation. I mean, the Phillies are going to extend him. Bryce Harper's going to go into the Hall of Fame as a Philly, right? This is going to happen. You can tell it's going to happen. The Phillies, even though they signed him for 13 years, throw a couple years on the back end of that, give him some money just to guarantee some more money. They don't do it. I don't know, man. Why not?
Baseball money is monopoly money anyway.
Yep. But a lot of people point out that, come on, Bryce, 8 years left to go. But it's not ridiculous. Because it's like you said, Steve, that do you think they really want to sign players to 13-year contracts, or is that a way of just spacing out money to be able to make it fit? Because they only want to pay guys a certain amount of money per year so they can fit everything under their payroll.
Right. I mean, we got a full masterclass by the Dodgers this year with the Ohtani contract and how they manipulated.
Oh my God, man!
The salary cap and the California tax bill and all that. It's just like, how does he get paid $70 million a year? Well, whatever, quote unquote, and his cap hit's only like 40 something. It's ridiculous.
No, it's like the salary cap in the NFL. It's not real. They're finding ways around stuff to be able to manipulate it. So let's do another. What's another good Bryce one here to play, and then we'll move on to Whit Merrifield.
This is Bryce talking about playing first base or the team asking him to play first base instead of right field.
All right.
Not too much my preference at the same time. I think we had a pretty good conversation. Me and Dombo, we sat down and he said this would be great for our organization, and I said okay. I wanted to make them understand, or not make them. I wanted them to know that I was on board with anything that they wanted to do. If that was right field, that was first base, and I told them that. I said if you want me in right field, I'll play right. If you want me at first, I'll play first base. And I think as a collective, they said first base is where we want you, and I said okay. I'm going to do everything I can to be there, and that's what I want.
He's good. He was good at first base too. He was actually really good at first base, considering he hasn't
what was
played
it? In
it
the second game, he had to catch over the rail.
Yeah, he's good.
Foul territory.
He's got great baseball instincts, but still being a first baseman in not that I've played baseball at a high level, but playing right field or the outfield for your career and then going over to first base is But like you saw that how natural he was over there, and I love it. I do, and I think it's the right move for sure. Because you want him out there. You don't want him being a full-time DH. You can definitely DH him maybe a third of the time. He wants to be out there. I think it's important to him. He doesn't want to fall asleep in the dugout thinking about his at-bats too much. He wants to be out there playing as a baseball player. So that gives him an opportunity.
Fully in the game.
And here's the other thing.
And he's got that energy for that.
He does. And he's not going to be banging in the walls. He's not going to be diving for balls and hurting himself. I think this actually keeps him a little bit healthier being at first base. So, I mean, I think it's great. You can kind of alternate and rotate him in there as the designated hitter. All right, so I know you're a big Whit Merrifield fan, Delco Steve. You were like, man, we got to get him.
I got a great note from my buddy who's the one who's the one who told me about the producing spot. He was pretty much what Kingery's supposed to be, but he's a veteran version of Kingery. So I'm like, oh, okay, well. If that's what Kingery's supposed to be, like the guy who can play every position, hit for average, get on base, steal bases. Hey, if he works out, he works out. And he's insurance for the other young outfielders.
Yeah, you can play, like you say, you can play all over. He knows that.
Nope. And we lost John.
I don't know how he did that.
There we go.
Oh, now I'm on the other side.
And now I'm hosting, baby.
All right. Well, now you're on that side. So $8 million contract. He's an above average player. He's 35 years old. So at this point, you're not expecting him to have career highs in anything. He steals bases. He gets a lot of hit. Forget about the $8 million. I saw some people being like, $8 million. Like, what do I care? $8 million. This makes them better.
It's not my money.
Yeah. I mean, it's not going to prevent them from doing anything else. It gives them insurance at a lot of different positions. He can play the outfield. He can play second base. So I think this is awesome. So here's Whit. So what's his real name? Is it Whitman? What do you think? You would think it's like Whitman, right? Whitley.
Dude, I thought I heard someone call him Wade.
His name's Whitley.
No,
all right.
Is it really?
It is. It's Whitley. Yeah, well, that's what. That why I mean, if you believe there's Wikipedia,
Whitley David. I heard someone say David. I was like,
Whitley. That's it. The only Whitley I know is from a different world.
I actually kind of like that name. Now that I think about it, Whiz Whit. I love it.
Yeah, well, he talked about Whiz Whit. Yeah, I mean, as recent as last year he had almost 600 plate appearances. batted .272. He led the league in at-bats for 3 straight seasons. He had 200 hits, led the league in hits in 200 in 2 straight years. That's also because he had 735 plate appearances one of those years. But he'll steal you some bases. He's led the league in steals a couple times. Now, at this point in his career, he's not going to do any of that. But still, I think he makes you good. Man, Whitney,
what do you think the current outfield rotation would be and DH?
Man, well, to me, Schwarber's your like full-time DH. I don't want to see Schwarber at all in left field, other than like real like spot duty if he needs to be out there or whatever.
Would you do like him in left and Harper playing DH for like a game here and there? Like, if that was the situation.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, you could play Schwarber out there a game or two at a time, or like a game at a time, maybe. Castellanos is married to right field, so he's going to be out there. And it's a matter of if Rojas is going to be your center fielder again, because Marsh is your left fielder. It seems like they really like Rojas, and you hope he doesn't take a step backwards. He sucked in the playoffs, but I'm less worried about that right now.
Did you see him all yoked up?
Yeah, well, yeah. It seemed like maybe he was lifting some weights in the offseason.
Yeah, he'll be getting tested.
I'm sure he already has been. Yes, you have Marsh, Rojas, Castellanos. You have Merrifield out there. I like the I like the lineup. I do. Trey Turner, based on what he did in the second half of last year, I like the lineup. I just don't. Again, I think this is a playoff team. It's just a matter of, are they a team where you look at them and you're like, all right, yeah, they can beat the Dodgers, they can beat the Braves, they can beat all these teams. Like at some point they're gonna run out of luck. They lost to the friggin' Diamondbacks last year, for Christ's sakes. I still don't know how that happened. All right. Well, that's the Phillies right there. We didn't hear from Whit. Can we hear from Whit? Whit sounds like he's a Philly guy, and the fans are going to like him. Here's Whit.
I've been a 3-time All-Star. I've led the league in hits a couple times. I've led the league in stolen bases. I've led the league in all these different things that I feel like I've proven that I'm here and I can play. I was an All-Star last year. I've done that. I want to win now. And so I'm here to do whatever I need to do to win and to help this team win, whether it's sit on the bench and be a cheerleader for 162 games. I don't think that's why they brought me here, but if that's what they want me to do, I just want to win.
All right, there you go. Just wants to win. There's Whit. Yeah, he doesn't want to sit for 162 games. This dude wants to play as well. He's gonna get plenty of at bats.
I was going to say, $8 million is an expensive cheerleader, and I will take that job. If you could take that job, you need a job more than me. So.
I do need a job, yes. Immediately.
Do you want to hear what Harper had to say on Whit?
Are you kidding me? I want to hear Harper on everything. Let's hear it.
All right.
What about Whit? We talked about 2 weeks ago, me and him, had some conversation about Philly and things like that. But I think he's really excited to be here. I don't think he's scared, which is going to be great for us. I think, he's had such a great career, even when he was younger at South Carolina as well. 2-time national champ. He knows how to win. He's a leader. He's a little bit of a veteran guy, 35 years old. So I think he'll bring that into our clubhouse as well. So I think we're all looking forward to that and seeing him. And 140 hits last year. He's top 3 in hits the last. Since 2017, and just a really good player all around. I mean, he's going to be a gamer for us, and I think Philadelphia should be really excited to get this guy, and I think he's going to help us a lot.
All right, I'm excited. Bryce says I should be excited. I'm excited.
I was just going to say the same exact thing.
Yeah, he's and Bryce talked to him about Philly and everything else. He just by watching a couple clips of him. By the way, shout out to NBC Sports Philadelphia and John Clark's Instagram, which is John Clark's Instagram is just like that's all you need for any type of sound or whatever. He's down there. He never sleeps. He's looking for likes and clicks and everything else. So thank you to John Clark. Not really knowing much about him other than Dombrowski. Phillies have been rumored to have tried to trade for him a couple times. So Dombrowski obviously is a fan of him. So he got him here. He's a free agent. He got him here. So it is a good move. All right. Did you watch any of it? Let's move on. Did you watch any of the NBA All-Star game? Delco Steve?
Not a second.
Me
Not
neither.
Not a single second. I watched a little bit of the celebrity game for like 6 minutes the other night.
So I watched some of the 3-point contests. I watched some Saturday night. Typically I watch maybe the dunk contest Saturday night. I was relatively entertained a little bit that I did watch on Saturday night because I was out. I had a big date with my wife on Saturday night. But yeah, so Adam Silver, the commissioner, was he has to have the in-season tournament. So yeah, he got the in-season tournament. And everybody should be excited about that. Now, like what I think players were excited about was, hey, we can actually win the games. But I never sensed that fans were really all that interested. This is a money grab, which is Adam Silver, the commissioner of the NBA's job, is to find more revenue streams. Totally fine with that. But one thing that's bothered me for a lot of years is the bitching and complaining about All-Star games, right? Like, oh, the Pro Bowl, they got to make it better. How can they make the Pro Bowl better? You're not going to make the Pro Bowl better. These guys play 16, 17, 18 games a year. Last thing they want to be doing is going out there in an exhibition and tackling each other, right? So you saw that, and I would actually always tune in to the Pro Bowl. But once they took it out of Hawaii, I was like, this sucks. It should be in Hawaii. They should get rewarded by going on a nice vacation. You feel like it's something. When they put it in Orlando or in Vegas or whatever, you're like, all right, this sucks. But anyway, like I never took an exhibition too seriously. Bud Selig with the whole debacle about how it's like now you're playing for home field for the World Series.
That was insane to me. Insane to me.
Dumb. Like stupid. Like take it for what it is. It's an exhibition. I know that
no one cares.
Nobody
you can't have something that has stakes like matter for people that don't care.
Right. No, you're right. And actually the MLB All-Star game I like better than all of them because you're getting pitchers that are going out there and they're pitching an inning, and some of the batters are getting just one at bat. So it's like it's easier to be competitive playing baseball than in the NBA or in the NFL, right? So the NFL actually took the game away, which I would have been fine with whatever they were doing because it was still drawing relatively good ratings. People were watching it. But the NBA last night, right, or Saturday night, 211 to 186, the East wins. 211. It's a new record, Steve. 211 points for the East as they're victorious.
Was one person guarded?
No. Well, see, like, that's what I'm saying. Like you would think, actually, I don't know what you would think, but you would think that it would be like, oh, well, a lot of scoring. That's good. No, not necessarily. So the recap that I read was that it was atrocious because, like, literally, there's not one lick of defense. Now that's why, like, I understand why Adam Silver doesn't want his product, the NBA All-Star Game, which is mid-season. He wants that to be a showcase of his league, and it's turned into what it's turned into. Guess what? It's not turning into anything else. It's not getting back to the mid-90s with Jordan. It's not getting back to Kobe. It's not.
I was about to say, my last memory is Kobe letting LeBron shoot, like try and shoot,
right,
to win the game.
Those days are over, right? Like,
100%.
Load management and everything else doing right. They can't get these guys to play in the regular season, and you want them going balls to the wall in the All-Star game. So let's hear from Adam Silver after the game. It's a final, 211 to 186. He comes out on the floor. And he's not even trying not to hide his displeasure. Here it is.
And to the Eastern Conference All-Stars, you scored the most points. Well, congratulations. Giannis, to your team, this trophy is yours.
Golf clap. There you go. Yeah, he wasn't happy.
What was better, the well or the celebration?
Celebration was pretty. Yeah.
Here you go.
Yeah, so these guys make a ton of money. They're all stars. They're not going to go out there and risk an injury. Period. I don't know what to tell you.
For this?
No, well, I mean, maybe in their contract, so they get it. Maybe the winning team gets.
It's not like the play-in tournament though, like where it's like.
It is not. No, it is not. Yeah, so like whatever. Take it for what it's worth. All right, like it's not going to be good. It's not going to be what it was before. But like, just try to act like that. It doesn't bother you. He's so bothered by it. And LeBron comes out after the game and he was talking about how he's like, oh, like he knew it sucked. He knew the game sucked. Why do you think I don't watch? I have no interest in watching that game. I know what it is, right? It's just like Karl-Anthony Towns I think he took 25 3-pointers. He scored 50 points.
I saw that he had 50. I didn't see how many shots he had.
Yeah, he took 35 shots. I have to go look at the back.
I got it.
At the box
He was
score.
23 for 35.
Yeah.
And 4 for 13 from 3.
All right, took 13 3-pointers. All right, Damian Lillard, he took a lot of 3-pointers. Yeah, like what do you expect?
Damian Lillard was 11 for 23.
Yeah, so
that's insane.
So here's the deal. Just like enough. All right, enough. The game is what it is. Like I don't know what you're bitching about. Enough. All right, so let's play this Charles Barkley thing here. Because I tried to get to this on Friday and didn't make it. So Charles Barkley is on the Dan Patrick Show on Friday, and I'm a huge fan of Charles Barkley. When he goes on with Dan Patrick, I don't know if you listen or watch the Dan Patrick Show, Delco Steve.
I do not.
I'm a big fan. I think they do a really good job. I don't listen every day, but I'm an occasional listener to the Dan Patrick Show. But when Charles goes on Dan Patrick, it's excellent because he's very good on so many different subjects. So let's just roll from right here, and then we can stop it or whatever if I need to. But here's Charles Barkley with he's talking about the Super Bowl as well. Here's Charles Barkley with Dan Patrick.
And the Super Bowl was a good game. And let me tell you something. All these idiots, fools, and jackasses out here, you know who I'm talking about on these other networks, Dan. Why do we have to blame somebody? Kyle Shanahan has done a hell of a job, and we get the luxury of seeing what happened after the fact. I thought Kyle Shanahan had a really good point because he said, if from a lot, he says, well, if we had scored first and they had scored, then it would have been sudden death. And I was like, that's logical to me. But we got so many idiots, fools, and jackasses on television now. Everybody has to have a hot take and blame somebody.
All right, so let's just stop it right there. Hey, Charles, what are you doing on TNT? Right? Are you going on there and giving strict basketball analysis, or are you going on there trying to entertain? Have you seen when Charles does the tournament, the NCAA tournament, how they bring him on for there? He doesn't know any of these players. He doesn't even try. He's there being Charles Barkley, right? So, and I'm not telling you and he's going to talk about the debate shows. I'm not telling you I like any of the debate shows because I don't watch them. But you have to realize that's their job. And their job is to have opinions on stuff like this. And guess what? You think Kyle Shanahan's done a great job, and it's their job to give opinions and debate what they think happened in that Super Bowl. So it's not far-fetched to criticize Kyle Shanahan for what the hell happened with the 49ers. By the way, the 49ers were unprepared for the rules of the Super Bowl, of the overtime rules in the Super Bowl. They were unprepared. The players didn't know the rules. So, all right, so let's continue. Here's more Charles Barkley talking about.
The 49ers had a very good year. And listen, Pat Mahomes just great. Plain simple. Hey, listen. Let's stop the Tom Brady stuff already. Let's stop the Andy Reid, Bill Belichick stuff already. Patrick is on a great ascension. He's doing great. He's not Tom Brady yet. And Andy Reid, is a great coach. And he's won 3 Super Bowls. He's still 3 behind Bill. And let me tell you how stupid some of these guys are on television. You know how much I hate Skip Bayless. I hate him with every fiber. Sometimes he makes me want to gain weight back so I can hate him with even more weight. He goes on television and says, if it wasn't for Tom Brady, Bill wouldn't have all these championships. And I'm like, well, Bill's the greatest coach ever. And he says, well, he only won the Super Bowls because of Tom Brady. Well, Andy Reid's a great coach. Exactly how many championships he won without Patrick Mahomes? Count him, Dan. He was in Philadelphia all those years. He didn't win the Super Bowl.
Why do you keep watching these shows if you hate?
Oh, I don't watch these shows. Trust me, I don't watch these shows. People send me these hot takes, and I love going hard at people because to sit there and say about Bill only won championship because of Tom Brady, that's stupid and asinine. And like I say,
so hang on. It's not, though. It's not stupid and asinine. I think it's a really good debate. Tom Brady leaves New England, and Bill Belichick has a losing record and gets more or less gets fired. Tom Brady goes to Tampa and wins a Super Bowl. And it's not okay to have a debate. Yeah, but so what Skip Bayless said. What Skip Bayless said was that like 75% of the success in New England should go to Tom Brady, right? So maybe for the first 10 years of that run, you could say it was more Belichick than Brady.
Agreed.
And I'll say absolutely, right? Those defenses were great. Belichick's obviously a great coach. No one's trying to say he's not a great coach. But like Tom was more or less like Tom was a 6th-round draft pick for a reason. But the second half of it, Tom Brady, I believe, was the driving force because Bill Belichick struggled to put talent around Tom Brady. No one else is winning those Super Bowls with those wide receivers, those running backs, an above-average offensive line at best, and good defenses, don't get me wrong. But, Bill Belichick, the general manager, let down Bill Belichick, the coach. That roster by the end was garbage.
I was going to say all-time coach, not an all-time GM by any means.
Right. Yeah. So like, why do you think he's not there? Look at how much talent's with the Patriots. So let's not act like the whole Tom Brady, just because Charles doesn't want to have the conversation. Charles is the caller that calls into sports radio and says, well, why do we have to have an opinion about this right now? Why can't we just wait till the end of the season? We don't get paid to wait till the end of the season. Skip Bayless and Stephen A. and whoever else, they don't get paid to wait. They don't get paid to say, oh, well, they get paid to debate. That's their job. Just like Charles gets paid to go on NBA on TNT and do what they do and entertain them. They're entertaining. Is there real analysis that's going on that show? No, because that's not what people want. There's enough analysis if you're a basketball fan, but people aren't waiting up to that West Coast game for Charles's analysis. They're waiting up because they want to be entertained because those guys are funny. So realize what they're doing, Charles. You may not like it, but you're doing the same thing. You're just doing it in a different way, in a different forum.
Multiple ways to skin a cat.
Yep. Shaq won because Kobe and Phil all the time. Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. He's got, like, Embiid, because he's critical of Embiid. Charles is. Right. Like, he gives criticism. Charles is he just hates Skip Bayless, and he hates these debate shows. I don't blame him for hating the debate shows. But he just can't help himself. He can't help himself.
They're over the top, though. Like, you got to admit that the debate shows.
They're stupid.
They're meant to piss you off. Like, that's their hook.
They're stupid. One person believes one thing, the other person believes another thing, and then it's the art of the debate. It's like a debate team in high school. I have no interest in that. I just don't. I don't have any. That's when I'll watch it.
Team in high school, so
they didn't have one in my high school debate team. So I
don't even know if we did or not. But if they did, I would not have been on it.
So Nick Wright.
I do like to argue, though.
I like to argue too. Nick Wright, Shady, all these other people. Like, this is what they do. I'm not going to hate on what they do. It's not easy. Right? This is their occupation. It's like, honest to God, it's like being an actor. Right? Like they're getting paid handsomely to go on and to talk about these opinions, and then they're being coached up, and they're given bullet points, and they're given information to take to one side. None of it's real. If anybody think that any of this is real, you might as well be watching a movie. Stephen A. Smith doesn't even know what he's talking about half the time.
Dude, he's got to go. He's got to retire with all that money he's got.
He's not retired. He's nothing. He wouldn't know what the hell to do with himself. He's not going anywhere. Stephen A. Smith, got to be nuts.
He was driving me crazy watching him coach that celebrity game.
Stephen A. Oh yeah. Man, Stephen A. loves himself. Like, Stephen A.
I was gonna say, like, can you play this up? Like, you're arguing over nonsense about Micah Parsons being too big. It's like, dude, shut. Like, just because you're being caught on audio.
Yep. Yeah, Corey, it's the one thing that we don't have tonight is the Jalen Hurts is the most overrated quarterback in the NFL. The Chris Sims comment. Chris Sims doesn't believe that Jalen. See, I don't think that that's manufactured at all. Chris Sims does not believe that Jalen Hurts is a good quarterback. Chris Sims doesn't believe that Jalen Hurts is a good enough thrower of the ball. Period.
That dude's a moron.
Well, I mean, like his problem was he took it too far. Remember that one quarterback list? He had him ranked like 37th. He had Kellen Mond ranked ahead of him.
Yeah, he had multiple backups ahead of him.
Right.
So he's like, you can have an opinion, but you got to at least fact check it.
Well, he piles on and he goes over the top, and that's why people hate him. But as far as having the opinion to saying I think Jalen Hurts is overrated, I don't think that's a bad opinion at all. I don't necessarily agree. I don't think that's a bad opinion. I mean,
I think it's a bad opinion. I think it's a bad opinion.
But like, did you thought it was a bad opinion week 11 last year? But then when you watched him play the rest of the season, it's like, all right, like we're talking about him being an MVP.
I'm going to still say he was hurt, and that's what the issue was down the stretch. That's just my opinion. But I don't know. I just don't see how you could say other guys in the league and put them ahead of Jalen Hurts, whether you think that's the case or not. It just makes no sense.
But what's the criteria? Like when we're talking about just the quarterback you'd rather have on your team going forward. Because it all depends on how you can spin it.
If you're talking about building your franchise around a guy, it's a different conversation than, like, who would you take this season?
All right, so coming up this season, but also like you could make the case an older quarterback that you would take. Right. So it works both ways, right? Like you could say you're not going to say Aaron Rodgers this year because he's coming off an injury, but last year, people may have said Aaron Rodgers, or going forward, people may say a younger quarterback, even though Jalen's extremely young. But like, would you take Josh Allen over Jalen Hurts right now?
Yes.
For next year?
For next year, yes.
Yeah, I would too.
I think he's just more talented. It's not an insult to Jalen by any means. I just think he's more talented.
Would you take Tua over Jalen Hurts?
No.
It's close.
Definitely not.
He's a better passer.
I agree, but I think if you gave Jalen an offense like Tua, then he would be performing better.
He's got a pretty good offense. But you know what else he has?
No. I'm not talking about the personnel. I'm talking about the scheme.
Yeah, the scheme's awesome. Mike McDaniel's
awesome.
Yeah, he's awesome.
I love watching the play. Wait, back when OG Wade was talking about the motion, all I was thinking about was Tyreek Hill running across the formation. It's like, who's covering that?
Yep.
Like, I could probably hit him wide open running across the field. And I suck. And I know that. And I'm 5'8" on a good day. And I can't see over an offensive line. But that dude's fast as hell. And if he's open, I could drop it in his lap.
No, it's awesome. No, I agree with you. It's awesome. Watching the Dolphins offense is fun. It was this year.
I had so much fun watching that offense.
Yeah. All right, Lamar or Jalen Hurts.
See, that's a half and half. I would probably lean Lamar.
But you just watched Lamar again lose in the playoffs and come up small in the playoffs. See, that's the thing.
Wait. All right, are we talking regular season? Are we talking like to win the whole thing?
I'm talking about for this year. For this year, you have a starting quarterback. Who do you want? Lamar or Jalen Hurts?
To win the Super Bowl, I'll take Jalen over Lamar. If we're talking regular season, I'll take Lamar.
Got you 13 wins.
But I think Jalen has a better shot of winning a pressure pass.
Playoffs. I'd rather have Jalen for sure.
100%.
That's the thing. He won in the playoffs, and they didn't just win because the team was good. He was great in that Super Bowl. He was great in that series. He outplayed Pat Mahomes.
Yes, he did.
Damn. Burrow. I'm taking Burrow. That's
definitely taking Burrow.
C.J. Stroud, who was leaving with that. Who's that big booty model that's from Philly?
Oh, God, what the hell is her name?
He left some function with her. Amber Rose. Yeah, it was Amber Rose. I don't know what he was doing with her, but actually I do know what he was doing with her. I don't blame him.
It popped up right away.
So anyway,
Amber Rose denies dating Houston Texans quarterback C.J. Stroud.
They were leaving together. That's for sure.
They might not be dating.
All right, they're doing
might
something.
Be dating.
Trevor Lawrence, I take Jalen Hurts 7 days a week over Trevor Lawrence.
Right now, I would definitely take Hurts over Trevor Lawrence.
Trevor Lawrence is missing something. Let me see who else here. That's Justin Herbert.
I would take Herbert.
So guess what Herbert needs to start doing? Winning. He's got all the talent.
I think he's got all the talent in the world.
Well, now he's got the coach to do it.
Yeah,
Harbaugh going to the Chargers is awesome.
But they hired Greg Roman.
Yeah, but he's not calling. He's not calling plays.
But are they going to run this bullshit? Run the ball. Like, is he going to do what he did at Michigan? Just run the ball 28 times in a row? It's like I don't see how you can with a guy like Herbert, but
we'll see. We'll see.
And they might lose Mike Williams. They got to reset. They might have to resign Keenan Allen.
All right, Brock Purdy.
No.
Brock
I'm
Purdy.
taking Jalen. I would love to see what Jalen would be in that offense.
I'd like to see what Brock Purdy. Well, I mean, what about this offense? And again, I guess it's the personnel in that offense.
They
you're
do
right.
so much different. Like they move think about what Brock Purdy's doing running the ball like on 3 carries a game.
But Shanahan wants a game manager in his offense. He wants Kirk Cousins running his offense. That's not Jalen. Jalen can make plays in a variety of ways. Brock Purdy doesn't. Brock Purdy's very good at moving around in the pocket and extending plays, but not like Jalen is, right?
No, agreed. But I'm saying you just saw Purdy run for 30 yards in the Super Bowl. Game before he had 3 carries for 50 something in the championship series, or championship game. So imagine Hurts running those options and then actually having designed runs in that offense with Hurts. If Shanahan ran it that way, but we know he doesn't.
I still can't when we're talking about the Dolphins offense.
I think Purdy's a good quarterback in the NFL. I'm not going to sit here and act like he's trash, he's garbage. But I don't think he's Brady. Like this bubble's going to burst at some point.
Well,
I think.
All right. I'm not saying he's Brady. Brady's the best quarterback of all time. But I'm
just saying with the late draft pick becoming a stud.
See, do I think that he is that he's benefiting from a good play calling head coach and good skill guys and a great running back? Yeah, of course. Name me the quarterback that has shit on offense that is any good. Tom Brady was the last guy that did that. He would win without anything. Guys can't do that anymore. But
I hope. Well, all I'm saying is I hope they pay him big, and then that's when the decline happens. That would be an ideal situation for me. But
all right, whatever. All right. Last thing. So I talked about it. I had a big date on Saturday night with my wife. So for her 40th birthday, which was in January, I wanted to get her something that, being that I'm unemployed and I don't need to be going out and spending big time money on a birthday gift. It's like, all right, what can I get her that is something that would be like thoughtful? Everything with her is thoughtful. She's not a materialistic person. There it is, shopeverylittledetail.com. There you go. She's very busy right now with her website, but check it out. shopeverylittledetail.com. I forgot to put the ticker.
I was gonna say we didn't have. Yep.
That's why I need a second producer to get all this stuff up there. But anyway, so I wanted to try to do something cool. So a couple years ago, there's a place in the King of Prussia Mall called Sur La Table, and you do cooking classes in there. So they have 2 sections. They have like where you can buy all the different, it's like a Williams and Sonoma, if you've ever been in there in a mall where they sell a bunch of like kitchen stuff, like high-end, overpriced kitchen stuff. And then they have an actual really nice kitchen where you can do cooking classes. So we did a cooking class. There was probably, maybe 6 other couples in there. And it was really, really cool. We had a good time. So it's like, all right, I don't want to do like painting with a twist or like, where you go and you paint some portrait drinking wine. I had no interest in doing that. So I was just Googling. So we did something called the Dinner Detective. So it was in Center City at the DoubleTree. The DoubleTree, it wasn't all, the hotel wasn't all that nice, but it's on Broad Street, and it's in like a smaller.
I know, I've been there.
It's in like a smaller banquet room. So there was 10 tables, 8 person a table, maybe 2 more tables, maybe 12 tables, and it's a Dinner Detective. So you are trying to figure out, somebody gets murdered, an actor, there's actors.
You get a role beforehand?
So you have to come up with an alias, and you put a name tag, and then you go around and you start questioning people because there are actors that are sitting at the tables. And somebody sitting at the table is the murderer, which is interesting.
I got you.
So it ends up being 2 of the actors were sitting right next to us. And we were talking to him the whole dinner, and I had no idea. And then in hindsight, it was kind of like a Kaiser Soze moment where, where Verbal Kint goes from limping in The Usual Suspect to where you realize, like, he's not limping, and he starts walking, and he gets into the car.
Yep.
Well, that's what it was. It's like, oh my God, they're actors. Like, this is total bullshit. Like, their story's nonsense. So they're telling you the story of how they got there. Like, they weren't a couple, but they worked together and they were scouting out different things that they can do because they work for Jefferson and Jefferson Hospital. So they're looking for like team building events that they can go to. So they wanted to check this out to see if this was something they could do at a corporate level or whatever. So I'm like, oh, cool, whatever. Meanwhile, they're both actors, and one got killed like 3/4 into the show.
They killed Kenny.
Yeah, it did. Like, all of a sudden, the lights went out, and then there was like a screaming and a fake gunshot, and then the dude sitting next to me, he's like, "Oh!" Got stabbed. Well, actually, no, the girl got shot, and then he got stabbed. So anyway,
Sitting right next to you.
yes, yep, right next to me. And we were suspicious of somebody else that was at the table, but then I'm like, no, like, he's definitely not an actor. So it's like, so you're not even really sure. I've never done this before. Yeah, but it was interesting. It was worth it. You know,
Did you guys figure it? Did you guys come together as a team and figure it out?
No. We didn't know who it was because, I mean, like, it's one of the people that are sitting down. It ended up being this guy, and only one person guessed who it was. You have to write it down, and only one person guessed who it was. But yeah, it was pretty cool. It was worth and they call people during the thing, so you could very easily get picked to come up, and then you look stupid because they're asking you to do stuff or whatever. Like my wife, because it was her birthday, they said, "Hey, birthday's right here," and then people were pointing to her. She had to stand up, and they were like questioning her about stuff or whatever. So yeah, but it was cool. It's like I could see for your third date, maybe not your third date, maybe your fifth date. You do Dinner Detective. Wasn't bad.
No, I would try it. I would try it.
All right. You have any?
I think I would like the cooking class better.
Yeah. The cooking class was definitely better. But like, it was cool. It was cool.
And I would definitely like painting with I would definitely like painting with a twist. Get drunk and paint. That sounds great. Sounds like a good time.
We did that before. Like, we've done
like
all
what
the
could go wrong.
Yeah, like yeah, exactly. We've done all these different things, so it's like I'm trying to. So she enjoyed herself, so she was happy about it.
That's all that matters.
Now, do you have any do you have any plans? Is a third date coming up this week? Or am I gonna have to book somebody here to work for you?
We don't have anything on the books just yet.
No,
nothing on the books yet. I'll keep you posted.
All right.
There's some chatter going on though.
Oh, is there chatter going on?
There's chatter. There's
right.
chatter.
All right. Well, listen, everybody, subscribe at John Marks Media. I am working. I saw somebody put it up there earlier. They were putting there like have Delco Steve work on an overlay for the thing. I was working on it Saturday night, actually, before I fell asleep. So I do have some technology that's coming. As you can see, I had to clean up my living room before we started the show tonight to make sure that everything was tidy in the background. But I am working on an overlay. But it's it's taking some time here, so don't worry. At some point. All right, well, dude, listen. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Everybody subscribe at John Marks Media. And again, the website's shopeverylittledetail.com. Check it out. We'll talk to everybody tomorrow, 9 p.m. live. See ya.